rocking? Is that 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 rocking? Is that
Hello everyone, this is Angela, and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. So in today's video, I will briefly touch on a sensitive topic that I feel needs to be discussed. Now, before I go any further, rainbow people, there's nothing but love over here for you. This is not a video about hating on the rainbow. Quite the contrary. It's about holding people accountable, and you will see what I mean as I proceed. So I just simply ask that you at least hear me out before reacting, okay? So, bit of background on me. Not only do I have some relatives and friends who are a part of the rainbow community who, honey, let me tell you something. I will tie my hair in a ponytail, put Vaseline on my face, take off my earrings, and windmill fight on their behalf if anybody stepped to them the wrong way and try to bully them. Not only are you found amongst my lifelong friends who I cherish dearly, I grew up watching my mother and grandmother along with other women and some men during my childhood, providing a refuge to those who were abused and ousted by their own families who were a part of the rainbow community. We've always been allies. My grandmother had a second home that one of my rainbow family members lived in rent-free, with the exception of course, paying for the taxes and the utilities on the place. And this spot became a refuge for dozens of people during those times. Now, bear in mind, this was during a time in the 80s when it was very dangerous to be out of the closet, you know, just being associated with somebody from the rainbow community. I'm from down south, so in the Bible Belt, it could have some consequences, not just on the person who's a part of the rainbow community, but anybody that associated with them, you know. So my family did not care and dared anybody to say anything about it. So I guess that's where I get it from. So these people were instantly adopted as members of my family who I still love and adore to this day. And unfortunately, more often than not, we had to provide refuge and respite to the rainbow community from some of the other folks within the rainbow community. You know, domestic violence, unfortunately, is a thing over there, and I saw it firsthand. I'm not here to air out rainbow dirty laundry. We got plenty of our own over here, but I'm just keeping it real. I'm sharing what I saw. So, I mean, we were the last visitors to one of my mama's co-workers who was unalived by, you know, the A, the I, the D, and the S. And I watched my mother give him $100, which in the late 80s was like the equivalent of giving somebody $500. On top of that was helping him. We were running errands for him. We were the ones who were there for him when his own family disowned him and wouldn't even come around to see him during his last days. I'm just keeping it real. It happened. So my video right now is not here to challenge your existence or your orientation. Quite to the contrary. It is here to challenge those who created you and then are mad that you exist. It is because I got to see what happened up close and personal within the rainbow community. And I was there pushing for inclusivity, you understand? So listen, I invite you to join me as we gang up on these hypocrites and call them out for stressing out your mother while she was pregnant with you. Just see me as the heterosexual person in the background that quietly aligned with you, who is now coming forward to share what I've seen through the years. And oh yes, before I go any further, for my naysayers who have claimed on other videos that I have some rainbow phobia, particularly transphobia, listen, the only problem I've ever had about people not being straight, deals with their character, as in their personality, their individual personality. It has nothing to do with their orientation. Your orientation can look like a zigzag line. It can look like an infinity line. It doesn't matter to me. In other words, you can be rainbow and it's all good to me, you know. However, I don't care who you are. If you are fake, lying, conniving, manipulating, cheating, no good son of or daughter of a no good person, then that's where I draw the line. And it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, where your orientation. I look at character first. So I have a problem with crooked personalities and not crooked orientations. And by that, I mean, I don't care if you're not straight. And I will tell the truth, no chaser, no matter who it is. So just to give you an example, you know, for those who have claimed in the past that I'm transphobic when I'm not, my stance is still the same. It's not fair to invade one group's safe space and claim it as your own, especially when you have the means and the support to create your own exclusive safe spaces, which focuses on you and your own unique issues. But that's not today's topic. So on that note, let me continue. Okay, so moving along, I've had a theory for years that prenatal stress can affect the orientation of a baby prior to its birth. I also think that childhood trauma can impact a person's orientation when they become an adult due to the stress on their developing brain during their formative years. And my theories developed as a result of being in close proximity to the rainbow community for the majority of my life. And I know that one can argue to throw out the theory because most people who were traumatized as children, unfortunately, you know, trauma is an unfortunate thing to children. You know, most of them are straight. Okay, cool, I get it. However, that's like telling me to throw out the theory that people who live in New York City are not susceptible to environmental stress from air pollution because most New Yorkers don't have asthma. There are plenty of articles on both topics regarding prenatal stress and childhood stressors and its impact on sexual orientation. And really, if you really want to go there, I'm focused on sexual orientation today, but there are a lot more conditions that can occur as a result of prenatal stress outside of the realm of sexual orientation. So today I want to focus on prenatal stress and particularly the documentary on the Real Pride channel, which is a rainbow-centered channel that is rightfully titled Survival of the Fabulous. Although on their description box, it says, quote, born this way, the science behind being gay. And so let me briefly read their description and their footnotes on the video. So in the description box of this particular video, it reads, are gay men born gay? It's asking a question. So it says, in this 2013 documentary, filmmaker Bryce Michael Sage explores how same-sex attraction can be compatible with evolution and how it could have survived through generations of history. A winner of multiple awards across international film festivals, Survival of Fabulous seeks to find out how you stayed on the right track if you were born this way. Survival of the Fabulous, there you go. Now, this is me talking. What I want to do is play a brief segment and then I'll be back.
I've always wondered what really makes me the way that I am. I'm gay. Fabulously gay. And I'm trying to figure out how men like me could have survived evolution.
Filmmaker Bryce Sage has had a big question on his mind ever since he came out of the closet. How is evolution compatible with the existence of gay men?
We've definitely survived the dog-eat-dog world of evolution, so why haven't gay men become extinct, like the dinosaurs who used to roam around this place? I may not know much about that natural selection business, but what I do know is we gay guys don't reproduce, and we seem to have stuck around for a real long time. So why haven't we become extinct?
Bryce has spent years wondering about this gay conundrum.
Darwin, you've got some explaining to do.
Okay, I'm back. So see, what they did in Survival of the Fabulous was to go into full scientific detail to understand why the rainbow people were still being born and did not go extinct, because, and especially prior to recent times, most of them would not have been able to reproduce without engaging in heterosexual activity. And many still do not have their own children. So how is it that they have not gone extinct? And by the way, I'm not asking that, I'm not saying I want y'all to go extinct. It's not like that. It's just that looking at the logic, there had to be more to it, to why rainbow people still exist from the biblical times and up until now. As well, within every society, they are known to exist on the planet. So beyond the fact that I have fabulous rainbow relatives, blood and adopted alike, along with equally fabulous friends, I could not buy into the argument that this was a choice that was being made by the individual, especially when there is evidence in places outside of Christendom of their existence and even full acceptance within their respective society. Not only that, if it were as simple as a choice, who in their right minds would pick to be amongst some of the most marginalized people to have ever existed? So like I said, the whole they're making a choice thing does not make sense. I always thought that there was more to it, because as I am, I can't choose to just, one day I'm just going to wake up and be with women. I'm heterosexual. And that's just how I am. I'm hardwired. I'm attracted to men, right? So just like I can't switch that off, I can imagine that the rainbow folks can't switch that off either. So I knew that there had to be something way more to it than just, they're making a choice. That doesn't make sense. So going back to Survival of Fabulous, I like the fact that this documentary asked it as a question from the angle of curiosity and not from the angle as if something is wrong. And bit of spoiler alert, there's going to be a link to this documentary in the description box of this video if you want to watch it first and then return to this discussion about elements that'll be found in it. So overall, what Survival of Fabulous showed is that it found that prenatal stress triggers the pregnant mother's immune system to shut off a gene that would cause the person to want to procreate with the other gender. So for those of you who are saying that they're choosing to be this way, there is scientific proof, and also, frankly, lots of the rainbow people have been saying it all along that they were born this way, meaning that they were born fabulous. So in the documentary, it shows that it's nature's way of saying that this person who will be born will not produce offspring because they will not be attracted to the other gender, and as a result, they won't compete with their siblings. Particularly males won't compete with their brothers for access to young women when they come of age, and they won't be creating additional mouths to feed. And on top of it all, this person will be a set of helping hands on behalf of their family. This is what the research has found, and is given the perspective of nature. And real talk, there are plenty of instances of rainbow uncles and aunties who help out with their family by watching their nieces and nephews and also leaving them an inheritance. Rainbow relatives are a win-win for their families. Okay, so moving along, right now, what I'm about to do is play a snippet from a TED Talk video where a gentleman by the name of Dr. James O'Keefe, who is a cardiologist to be exact, speaks so lovingly about his gay firstborn son, Jimmy. And a bit of background, according to the research, the stress that Jimmy's mother, Joan, experienced while she was carrying him turned off his ability to be attracted to women. Because again, the stress triggered her immune system. And so what was that stress at the time? Well, Joan had a large cancer developing in her chest while she was pregnant with Jimmy. And during her third trimester, she had to undergo chemotherapy. So it was a very scary time, a very stressful time for the family, because they did not know whether or not she or Jimmy, whether or not either one of them were going to make it. And if she wasn't going to make it, what's going to happen? Because, this infant would be left without a mother, and the rest of their children, well, he's the firstborn, I'm sorry. But at the time, all of this was going on. So Joan's immune system was triggered, and it shut off what would have been Jimmy's attraction to women while he was in utero. This is how nature balances out stress that pregnant mothers encounter. So, and as time went on, Jimmy grew up to become the loving, helping hands of his family, a priceless treasure to his kin. So, on that note, let's watch a snippet of the TED Talk, and then I'll be back.
Could improve the chances of survival for the whole family. Now, I apologize. We have a lot more science about sexual orientation in men than in women, so this talk is mostly about gay males, though I have no doubt that female homosexuality is also a natural variation that is advantageous for the family and the community. But Jimmy has no older brothers. Why is he gay? So when Joan was pregnant with him, we discovered a large cancer growing in her chest, metastasis in the neck. It was a scary time. She had to have radiation therapy to her chest while Jimmy was still in the third trimester. It was a rocky start for little Jimmy. Miraculously, they both survived and are in great health today. But in fact, severe prenatal stress does predispose to homosexuality. In this study, 37% of gay males reported that their mother suffered severe prenatal stress, compared to only 3% of heterosexual males' moms. This is kind of like the Queen Ant, where the mom is placing epigenetic markers on the baby to change his identity to help the future welfare of the family. It's as if the mom was saying, I'm in trouble here. I need a kind and clever ally to help me hold this family together. So to summarize, if the family is flush with plenty of kids, and or it's a stressful place in time, nature occasionally flips these epigenetic switches to turn on the gay genes. This alters brain development that changes sexual orientation and also improves emotional intelligence. I have no doubt that Jimmy was born gay. Here's his first birthday party. When he was 3, he said, "Mommy, when I grow up, I want to marry Daddy."
Okay, I'm back. So ultimately, prenatal stress triggers a woman's immune response to epigenetically turn off the gene of attraction while a baby, especially a boy, is in utero. And this brings me to why I am really doing this video today. It is because I've been sitting back for years and observing some heterosexual people throw rocks and then hide their hands on this particular topic. Everyone on this earth was created by a union of a sperm and of an egg, which means that the majority of the people walking around right now, straight and rainbow alike, were created outside of a laboratory and inside of a bedroom or the back of a car on top of a washing machine, the old-fashioned way. we created everybody. And when I say we, I'm talking about the straight people, heterosexual for the most part. For the most part, things are a little bit different now because more rainbow people, thankfully, are able to have their own children if they choose to, without having to engage in heterosexual activity. Perfectly fine. But as of right now, most of the people walking around, including rainbow people, were created by heterosexual unions. Okay. And as I said earlier, I told you that I had a theory that prenatal stress can affect the orientation of a baby prior to its birth. I also have another theory about why the rainbow community is hated by some straight people, especially when it's one of their own parents, and especially when one of those parents who is so hateful and so unforgiving or whatever is the dad. And here's my theory. It's because deep down inside, he knows that he stressed out the mom when she was pregnant with his child. He knew that he stressed her out, yelled at her, cursed at her, made her life a living hell while she was carrying their child, or in the case of Steven Crowder, carrying their twins. See, watch. I'll play this video, viewers discretion advised, and then I'll be back.
Because I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary at abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There is no groceries. I do have
Steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes, how do you man? How do you man receive love and respect? No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
You're not taking the car.
Steven,
You are not.
then I
taking
will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
Is that what you're Steven?
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven.
You're making it work. Can you do that? The only way out of this is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hillary,
Steven?
you give up so easily.
I
just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Fucking watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. You need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right. We're at an impasse. Become someone, listen to me, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage anymore. I'm gonna go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not gonna.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to it. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? Don't you take Betty?
If it what?
You took my sister Nettie away from me. You knew she was the only somebody in the world who loved me. But Nettie and my kids, they coming home soon. And when we all get together, we gonna sit around and whoop your ass.
Nettie, your kids, woman, you talking crazy.
Boy, I got children. My children living in Africa. Learning different languages. Fresh air, plenty of exercise. And they gonna turn out a heap better than these fools you never tried to raise.
No, hold on here.
No, hold on, Harper. If you hadn't tried to rule over Sophia, white folks never would have got her.
And that's a lot. Now that's a lot.
The truth in it. Y'all was rotten kids. You was rotten kids. Made my life here hell. Of course, your daddy ain't nothing but some dead horse shit.
I'm back. So I'm all for fighting him, not physically. I'm not advocating for violence, but rather be uncooperative against your daddy because he's the reason why you're not attracted to women and he's trying to make you feel bad and mistreat you because of it. It's not fair. And I'm a fair person. I don't care who you are, how you get down or with who, but right is right, wrong is wrong, and fair is fair. And I side with nature. And nature's response to prenatal stress is to make it easier on mama by keeping the baby from growing up and making more mouths to feed later in life. I am speaking out because straight people, or at least straight passing people, I suspect he's straight passing, like Steven Crowder, who is known to be a phobe, are attacking rainbow people in the streets. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, he's stressing out his wife, and he was predisposing their twin boys to becoming the very people that he claims to dislike and be phobic against. So basically, he's out here creating the very people that he claims to hate or dislike strongly, okay? And for those of you who may be thinking that I'm reaching here, as I mentioned earlier, please just hear me out. Despite providing evidence from a pro-rainbow documentary and a TED Talk with a cardiologist who speaks about his own gay son in a very loving way, let me show you why I'm speaking out. Let me show you some examples. You see, here's a picture of Cookie Johnson, who was pregnant with E.J. Johnson around the time that Magic Johnson was diagnosed with the HIV back in the day. Okay. At that time, this was like the early 90s. I think this was back in the like 1990, 1991 or something like that. At that point in time, people were still learning about the illness back then. And I can remember that no one wanted to play on the basketball court with him. It was sad. They didn't even want to touch the same basketball. But again, you know, this illness, people were still trying to figure it out. They didn't know how it was being passed and that kind of stuff. So, well, the issue was whether or not Cookie had contracted it and if it would have passed on to the baby at the time, EJ. Thankfully, both Cookie Johnson and EJ were just fine. However, here we are years later, and we can see how the stress of not knowing whether or not you have a life-threatening illness and whether or not your unborn child is infected with the same life-threatening illness, you can see how that kind of stress could flare up Cookie's immune system, which would later epigenetically impact EJ's sexual orientation. Just like what Dr. James O'Keefe described during the TED Talk in Jimmy's case, when his mother Joan was diagnosed with cancer and had to receive radiation during her third trimester. Thankfully, there's no evidence in Magic Johnson's own case or in Dr. James O'Keefe's own cases where either guy, mistreated their wives and they're both in long-term marriages, right? But what is evidence is that both women were heavily stressed while pregnant. So here's the key. The key term is stress, regardless of the cause, who or what is causing it, and understanding that the immune system is reacting against it as a natural phenomenon, which is why it makes zero sense to hate rainbow people, by the way. So again, what I'm sharing has nothing to do about whether or not rainbow people should exist in their fabulous state or questioning their orientation. It's a free country, and consenting adults are free to do whatever they wish. From my humble point of view, they are not the issue, okay? Who is the issue of people like Steven Crowder?
I'm afraid, frankly, he used to have a bad temper. I'm afraid
Ooh, this is it.
I'm afraid of Mr. Hyde rearing his ugly bisexual head. That was a short face. That was a short face. I'm afraid.
Be destroyed by latent thoughts of big, floppy penises. Make your choice, Stephen.
Oh my God!
Choice, Stephen.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Wow! Ooh, he is very good at that thrusting. We need this to be a GIF. Okay, I need to make this a GIF. Absolutely, 100,000% needs to make this a GIF. But we need this GIF. Holy shit.
Who is the issue of people like Steven Crowder, who are deliberately stressing women during pregnancy the way that he treated his now ex-wife Hillary, arguing with her while she was barefoot and pregnant over her supposed wifely duties, according to him, one of which was to walk their dog. While heavily pregnant, probably nauseated, and fatigued. You see, they are the ones that I feel need to be called out for the impact of their psychological abuse on their families. Time will tell what the outcome of the twins will be as far as who they will become intimate with as adults. And this brings me to Dwayne Wade and his ex-wife Siohvaughn Funches. Here's an interview snippet where she speaks about an incident between her and Dwayne Wade that allegedly happened back in 2006. I will play a snippet of the interview and then I'll be back.
I woke up in the middle of the night because I was sick, obviously with the pregnancy, and I noticed that Mr. Wade wasn't in the house. And so I was calling him because it was probably like, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and we went to bed together, which means he must have gotten up out of the bed and just left in the middle of the night without telling me. And so I was looking for him. I looked around the house. I was calling his phone. He didn't answer. He finally got back several hours later. It was well into the next day, and I was very upset. I was angry. I was, asking him where was he and why did he just leave without saying anything.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Yeah, I was his wife. Rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
And his response to me was first being verbally abusive. He was cursing. He was calling me names. He was telling me shut the F up. Women talk too effing much, and I need to know my place and things like that. And then that made me more angry. That made me say, like, what is he talking? Women need to know their place, and why is he speaking to me like that? And then it turned into physical violence. He picked me up and held me over his head, literally in midair, and threw me down in our bathroom.
While you were pregnant?
Yes,
and
while I was pregnant.
I just want to make sure we clarify. He knew you were carrying a child.
I'm not sure what he knew, but we had Zion on purpose. We planned that pregnancy. So
that's what I'm saying. So he knew you were with child.
Yes.
And he picked you up.
He picked me up, and he slammed me down. And we had an ottoman in the bathroom at that time, a piece of furniture in the center of our master bathroom. And he slammed me down so hard that when my back hit the ottoman, it broke into 4 pieces. And then my back and my head hit the concrete, the marble floor, in the bathroom. And then after that, I got up and I immediately went, there's a cordless phone in the bathroom. I immediately went to that phone and I was crying. I was hysterical, and I went to go call the police. And when I did that, I would say more hell broke loose. At that point, you know, I suppose because he was in fear of being exposed, because I certainly was going to call the police. And I picked up the cordless phone. He snatched it out of my hand, and he threw the cordless phone against my body so hard that the phone literally broke into pieces.
Okay, I'm back. Now, she said that she was pregnant with Zion at the time of this incident. And Zion is who is now known as Zaya. From my perspective, I believe her because of the fact that stress triggers the mother's immune system to turn off the unborn child's ability to want to be in a relationship with the other gender. Unlike Cookie Johnson and Joanne O'Keefe, who were both facing potentially life-ending illnesses while pregnant, Siohvaughn Funches did not mention any other stress outside of the difficulties that she allegedly experienced between herself and Dwayne Wade at the time. And from my end of things, looking at Zaya Wade, I believe Siohvaughn Funches. Thankfully, Dwayne Wade has embraced Zaya as is. However, there are males who are absolutely belligerent with their rainbow children, especially if he's a boy, knowing full on well that the reason the boy is not attracted to women is because when his mom was pregnant, the father was beating on her, cursing her out, stressing her out. And before you come for my head, remember I told you that I have family members in the rainbow community, and all but one of them were born to fathers who stressed their mothers or stressed out the mothers during pregnancy. The other one was violated by a relative on her paternal side of the family. I'm from her maternal side of the family, by the way. But for the rest of my rainbow relatives, the fathers were either abusive or abandoning or both. Now, what I want to make clear is it is stress in general that can trigger the woman's immune system during pregnancy, extreme stress, and can cause the baby's attraction for the other sex, especially if the baby is a boy, to be turned off. You know, war is a form of stress. Financial difficulties is a form of stress. Illness is a form of stress. But you know what? So is domestic violence. And from my end, I have seen a lot within Blackistan in particular. There is no shortage of Dusties who are fighting and beating up on their baby mamas, saying F them kids. As a matter of fact, here is a screenshot of a Google search where I simply typed, quote, "man beats pregnant girlfriend." And it came back with over 8.7 million results. 8.7 million different links where a woman was assaulted while she was pregnant by the father of her child. Can you imagine what it's like for somebody to lay down with you and create a child and then turn around and try to beat it out you? Most of the assailants, I went through about a few pages and I just couldn't take it anymore. Most of the assailants in the 4 pages that I researched were the fathers of the unborn children. Not only that, when they were charged for it or even unaliving the child in some cases, the charges that these dudes got were so light. It should be criminal in and of itself, especially when you compare the abortion rhetoric. But I digress. My whole point of this video was to shine a spotlight on how stress can trigger a pregnant woman's immune system and cause, among other things, an alteration to the unborn child's sexual orientation later in life.
In fact, severe prenatal stress does predispose to homosexuality. In this study, 37% of gay males reported that their mother suffered severe prenatal stress, compared to only 3% of heterosexual males' moms.
And again, this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with it as far as how that person is born and comes out into the world. Everybody should be loved and embraced, you know. But I think something needs to be said about dudes that stress their wives and their baby mamas and their fiancés and their girlfriends or whoever while they are pregnant. And also, quite frankly, during the child's formative years, it can impact them. So that's who I'm calling out. I'm not calling out the rainbow community. Y'all are cool and y'all are safe over here. I'm calling out the people who claim to have a problem with the rainbow community for existing, but they themselves are creating more members of the rainbow community. It's hypocrisy. So that's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time.
Is that rocking? 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 Is that rocking?